Hello everyone. This week's Parsha is Parshat Beshalach. In Parshat Beshalach, Bnei Yisrael finally leave Mitzrayim and sing Shirat Hayam. I'd like to tell you something about the departure from Mitzrayim. As you remember from last week's Parsha, Am Yisrael had a mitzvah to ask of the Egyptians things of silver and things of gold that they were supposed to borrow from the Egyptians. That was their mitzvah. So that Hashem would be able to say that indeed they left Mitzrayim b'rechush gadol, with great wealth, just as He promised Abraham. We know that the great wealth that Hashem really referred to when He promised Abraham great wealth was the wealth of Torah. Nonetheless, since people perceive wealth also as gold and silver, Hashem made sure to cover all bases. Now, when Bnei Yisrael actually left Egypt, they had another mitzvah as well. They were supposed to take from Egypt the bones of the 12 tribes, among them in particular the bones of Yosef, who made his brothers promise that he would take him out of Mitzrayim. Now, Yosef, when he made his brothers promise, his brothers clearly intended to keep the promise, but the Egyptians said, aha, if they promised to take his bones out of Egypt, that means that if we hide his bones in such a way that no one will ever find them, then the Jews will never be able to leave Egypt. Therefore, they took Yosef's cask, where his body was, and they hid it in the Nile. They put it underwater, in a very heavy cask that sank to the bottom. And nobody knew where it was. Well, when everyone was borrowing gold and silver, Moshe Rabbeinu went to look for Yosef's cask. He looked everywhere, but he couldn't find it, until he met an old lady who was still alive from the time of Yaakov Avinu. Her name was Serach Bat Asher. And he asked her, do you know where Yosef's cask is? She said, yes, I remember that the Egyptians took it and put it in the Nile. And they drowned it in the Nile deep underwater, so no one would be able to retrieve it. So Yosef went to the place that she told her, in the Nile, and he took a piece of parchment, and he wrote on it, Ale Shul, rise, O bull, or Shul will also be wall. But this is referring to the bracha of Yaakov that Yosef should be equivalent to a shul. And he took this and he cast it into the water. It also had on it a secret name, but that of course we don't write on paper. And then a miraculous thing happened. Out of the Nile rose the cask of Yosef, and Moshe made sure to retrieve it, and then the Jews took it out with them from Mitzrayim. Now the reason this occurred is because Hashem grants people who always keep their word a special gift, that whatever word they intend to keep, He helps them keep it. Since the tribes had promised to take Yosef out of Mitzrayim, Hashem helped them to keep that promise. So you recall, Yosef had never broken his word, not even with the Hatarat Nedarim, much as he's told Paro when Paro suggested that he annul his promise and not take Yaakov back to Israel. May we always be able to speak truthfully and never have to annul anything we say, and may Hashem always grant all our wishes. Shabbat Shalom.